Hello, here we are at E-mini Volume Profile Day Trading .wordpress.com. That's the blog with lots of videos compiling a course in how to use market profile for trading the E-minis, the euros, or whatever market you might be interested in. We're going to look at today's activity in the context of the last couple weeks, and today is the 26th of August, so we just finished Wednesday's trading. And we'll start off by just, this is what we look at going into the market. This is where we've been the last few weeks. From July 29th to August 14th, we had this narrow range congestion when they had established a slightly higher value there for a couple of weeks. We had a brief test coming down to the value area low of that activity, which immediately springboarded up, broke out on Friday of last week above the value area of that stretch of trading, and this is what we've done this week. This is looking similar to what we saw not too long ago in this relentless grinding up trend since the March 6th low. But you notice here we had all these dojis from June 2nd through the 12th, and that's where we're at right now. So let's see what the trading was like this week. Now, going in, we want to see that after yesterday's trading, actually we did have a little bit of a bearish bias, because look at the delta, what's been going on this breakout from very great predominance of buying interest on the up move. On the breakout bar, though, diminished almost to break even in terms of buying and selling, and the delta has been negative Monday and Tuesday. So going into today, we weren't terribly bullish that they were going to break out and take out yesterday's doji high, but we had to wait and see. So let's look at what we were looking at intraday. Now we can still get a little bit more of a solid conviction by looking at the 135-minute bars on this same period. We've got Monday, Tuesday, and now today's activity Wednesday. This was the breakout day. So notice on the breakout, the delta was good for the first third of the day. By the end of the day, although it closed on the high, notice that the delta had come down to break even. Now on this week's trading, it started out with some buying interest in the first 135 minutes, the first few hours, and it was enough to establish new highs, but very quickly selling came in off the high. So the initial breakout was reversed, and it closed closer to the lows of the day on increasing volume on that selling. Now the next day it did break to a new high on very strong delta. I'm sorry, very good volume, but not very strong delta, and the delta was negative for the rest of the day yesterday. So now you had 2 days where they sold it into the close, and that made us a little more bearish today. And in fact, it was threatening to be very bearish in the beginning of the day. Negative delta and increasing volume again on the selling, and it didn't really show too much conviction, although it made it back into the range and back into the value. Now notice for this entire stretch, value has mostly been confined to this area between 1026, 133 area, we could say. And that's what we were looking at going. And we know those are the key levels, and we know that this is really the key level here, 1021.25, if they were going to space underneath the market. So let's see how we can trade that on the shorter time frames, what we did. Now looking at the 15-minute bars, in the context of the value areas and point of controls, I'll narrow it to yesterday's trading. So this is Tuesday, and Monday had a value down here. So yesterday's value was moving up into the the 1025 to around 1032 area. But remember, it closed down at the bottom of that value, and it was going into the close. Notice it sold off in very strong volume. So that gave us a bias, and when it opened, and it did a very typical thing on a gap down, especially since this is a very bullish up move since March. If they're gapping down, it's often a very good buying opportunity. But the question is, what are they going to do after this long move when they get back up to the top of value? Now notice it's all pretty clear cut here. They just barely poked through yesterday's value area low here for just a few minutes, and a lot of strong buying came in. Let's get that so we can see it a little better. You'll notice that was the peak volume of the day on this very strong up move bar, very, very big range, and very, very strong dominance of delta also. However, as soon as it approached value, the high value of the day, it immediately reversed delta, and in fact the high tick bar of the day was a very convincing delta divergence. So that's what we had to look at. So we'll keep that in mind when we drop down and see what we did on the smaller time frames. I just wanted to start off having this with the bars nice and big so you can see it on the small YouTube videos. So that was a major turn around 9:30, and the same thing happened here at the low. We had a reversal of the delta over a period of 4 bars. 4 15-minute bars make 60 minutes. So you can see that on the low bar it reversed to about even on slightly increasing overall volume. So that was enough for a good buy there on the 1230 bar. And this delta was reversing on the way down, although not totally a divergence, but the sell-off was on diminishing and diminishing and diminishing volume. And that was a good buy there at the bottom, the low value of today's developing activity. So what we're seeing today is every turn was a clear delta reversal. Up here at yesterday's the point of control from yesterday, we had a nice narrow range bar, which even on a 15-minute, very, very strong reversal of the delta. So that was another good trade. So let's look at it on the smaller time frame and see how we were able to negotiate the. Now, although today wasn't really any wide range day, it did have these big swings, and it wasn't too bad for trading. I got off 10 trades during today's activity, 1 break even and the rest winners. So it was an okay day for August. And I just I'm showing you the 8-minute and the 4-minute here. It often gives us these perfect textbook delta reversals, and you'll notice on the 8-minute over here that the high bar was a hangman doji with a very obvious delta reversal signal. So that's the one we were looking at. On the 15-minute also gave you the delta reversal, and this is what it did intra-bar on the 8-minute. On the 4-minute, it was very easy to nail. On the first high, the delta was already a lot lower than its previous the previous part of the up move, and volume was diminishing on the retest, overall volume down here diminishing. And then on this retest spike high, and remember it was right at the value area high for the day, 1 tick under it on the 4-minute, right on it on the 8-minute. And there was a really clear, perfect delta reversal on increasing volume. So very clearly this bar picked up more, it picked up new sellers, and there were more people hitting the bid than lifting the offer, so it went down very strongly. So that was a great trade there. And as we came down to the lows we looked at earlier, let's line those. On that low we saw earlier on the 15-minute, you can see it was a very clear rejection here on this very long-stemmed hammer. On the 4-minute, now it wasn't exactly a delta reversal, but you could see the volume diminishing on the retest of this sell-off right at the value area low, and a big increase of volume on this spike bar and the delta had been getting closer and closer to zero all the way down for the past 45 minutes. Over here on the 8-minute, it was just about a break-even delta on increasing volume. So very good buy signal there for pretty good trade.